Welcome to the Life and a Bookshelf podcast with Beck Mills. Here you will find convos, connection, and random musings all about this 30-something life. We talk lifelong learning, we talk books reading, mini book reviews, writing, all the way through to home and wellness hacks and making a positive impact with our time here on earth in our own lives, our families, and out in our wider community. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hey, welcome in. Today I've got a mini book review for you. I'm excited to bring you this one as this book's been on my bookshelf for a while. I found it at an op shop a while back now, and I don't know what it was, but I just, was after a new book, and this one really was shouting at me from the bookshelf. So I was like, okay, I get it. Anyway, so it is Happy and Other Ridiculous Aspirations by Turia Pitt. And you might have seen Turia, I'm probably going to say it wrong, on the social media, doing the round on telly. So Turia was involved with a really horrid accident years and years ago now, where she was burnt in a bushfire while competing in a race. And horrible experience. And I really enjoyed this book because she didn't focus in on what had happened to her, but more so like what she's doing now and like what she's concentrating on now as she's moved through that and is just living her life. And I call it like a morning book. I don't know why, but it's one of those ones you can pick up, just flick to whatever page. And I always found something that sort of hit home when I did that. Not many books I read like that. I'm quite, read start to finish with most books because I don't always finish them. But this is one you can just literally like flick to a page and find something like tidbits of advice, a great story, something that resonates, or something you can try. And I really love that. And it is really tongue-in-cheek. It's really her. So if you've ever seen her on any media, you'll know she's quite cheeky, very like down to earth, but she loves a laugh. And it's, tongue-in-cheek. And at first I was like, this was really over the top and like really OTT Aussie chick with the language that she uses and stuff. But as I kept reading it, it just felt like her, and felt like we were having a conversation almost. It did, and it started to feel more genuine. It was an enjoyable read. I could read a little bit and still feel like I got something out of it for the day. I could read a few chapters and it was great. In saying that, I guess I didn't read anything new. So like, I didn't read anything that was, I guess, like new information to me. As I read a lot of nonfiction books in that self-help category. Like I love it and I read a lot in it. So I found like there wasn't any new information, but the way she presented it was really awesome. And had really good reminders, especially around mornings. And making, how we can make the most of our mornings and how that is so influential on the rest of our days. And at that time, I really felt I needed that reminder. And also a lot around self-acceptance, and which is so important all the time to continue learning and growing in that area. Like, and she just like had little stories from her own experience in there, really vulnerable shares at times. So I just felt like the more I kept reading, the more I got to know her personally and like love her style of writing. You could really feel like her voice coming through, which was really cool. If you normally avoid this area of the bookshop or Amazon, but you have an inkling that you would love to read her book, or maybe just dip your toes a little bit into the personal development field of reading and books, this is a great read to start with, because like I said, it's quite casual. Her advice is really down to earth, which I love. She just kind of says it as it is. She doesn't claim to be some guru. She's always referring to research, which is really cool. So yeah, it is a self-help book. And yeah, like I said, if you normally avoid this section on Amazon or this section category in the bookshop or whatever, but you have been curious and maybe you've listened to the podcast, a few episodes there, I've done a few mini book reviews on some self-help books and you're kind of like, oh, maybe. And this resonates with you. This is a great book to start with. Easy to read, easy to absorb, great reminders. Like I said, nothing completely new for me, but that, in saying that, I've read a lot of self-help books and done a lot of work in this area, and but I still really, really enjoy it. And I love that I could just pick it up, flick to any page and like read a funny story or get a great reminder. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and it was easy to, like if I didn't get to it for a month, I could just pick it up again and keep reading. Like there was no had to read from start to finish for it to make sense. I think she really, what's the word, plays to her strengths with the book that she's written here. It makes me want to read her other book. I haven't read her other book, and this is by no means a new book. She does talk a little bit about COVID in there. So it's new-ish. But yeah, her warmth and her positivity and her outlook on life was really enjoyable to absorb through her words. So yeah, if you've been curious about this book, definitely check it out. Yeah, great sense of humour. Yeah, real Aussie chick, sometimes a bit OTT, but that's just my opinion. It might be just what you absolutely love. And I felt like it took me a while to like start getting into it, but like as it went on, it felt easier and easier to get into and read and absorb her style of reading. And that's not why we read books. I picked it up because I've heard her story and I wanted to know a bit more about her as a person and what she's doing now and her outlook on life. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. If you have read it, I'd love to know what you think. Just send me a message over on Instagram at Life on a Bookshelf Podcast. I'd love to hear. Or if you're like, yes, that sounds right up my alley and I want to read it. Especially if you might like reading like high profile public figures, like memoirs. And I wouldn't say, like in some ways the memoir-ish feeling comes into this book because it's like so personal and vulnerable at times. But it doesn't overtake the book. And I love that she refers to so many different research studies and people that are considered, I guess, experts in their field. Like she's interviewed also like her mum, and it's really cool. And yeah, I had a few little giggles and stuff throughout. So that's always fun, And I like that in a morning book. I'm doing quotations with my fingers. A morning book, because yeah, I could just grab it and read a couple of pages and feel content that I had, read something. And I think definitely the biggest thing I got out of this book was the reminder about mornings and really making the most of them in whatever way it looks and feels the best for you. Like there's no, like she's not like pressuring on any point at all, like she's just like, these are the things I do. These are the things that research says can really, help you make the most of your day. But she covers so many different topics. She talks about money as well, and she talks about, oh gosh, so many different things. I'm trying to think, but like a lot, I guess the overarching theme is around self-acceptance, feelings of gratitude, and shit happens in our lives, and like how we move through that and keep connecting with the others around us in the world is really, really important. So hope you enjoyed. that's all I got today. Let me know if you've read it or if you want to read it. And like I said, if you've read a lot of self-help books, you might not get any new information as such out of it, but it was still a really, really enjoyable read. And if you are wanting to dip your toes in and read a book that's a little bit more that kind of theme and category in the personal development, self-development or self-help, if you want to call it that, that sort of category, then this is a great book to start with, and I would highly, highly recommend. Anyway, hope you have a marvelous day, and I'll talk to you soon. So that's all for today. Make sure you click that follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. I thank you so much for taking the time to listen in today. Appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. You absolutely deserve it. Talk soon.